back, everybody. It is the Working Brother back at you with another talk. Yet again, we've got Drago Bosnic, also known as Drago. Drago, welcome back.
Thanks, you man. It's great to be here, and for real, this time I can say long time no see.
It has been an extremely long time, but it also has been since I last recorded with you that I basically didn't record since then, which is like I took September off. Is it September? Yeah, September. I took that off basically, but I got a lot of things done that were not on YouTube. If you're not on Telegram, you should be on Telegram following the Working Brother and Drago Bosnic. Links in the description. I'll get rid of this intro music now that we're back. For everybody who's new here, hi, welcome. Nothing we say here has anything to do with reality, and this is a comedy show. This is geopolitical comedy. Drago did like a comedy tour. You went to do live performance comedy in China. That's what we're going to talk about. We're also going to get into this update here. I got an update. You see this? This is real. This is a shirt. It's a Working Brother shirt. It's going to be a limited edition for Patreons and for friends and guests of the show. And then some of them might actually go on for sale. So, like, get in the links below and support the Working Brother if you haven't already. I'll make a post about it eventually on Telegram. Anyway, Drago, you went to China. China!
Yeah. China, my first trip to China. Well, obviously the Chinese kidnapped me, and now my credit score is going to be dependent on how good I'm going to present China in this show.
You volunteered to be kidnapped, right?
Yeah, exactly. And as I said, the social credit score is going to be the most important part of this show. In all seriousness, I knew how well developed China is, but like when you see it firsthand, like it's an impressive experience. The best part, of course, is seeing all that progress, and then like reading almost daily, well, pretty much daily, reading Western media saying that China is going to collapse economically any minute. So that was probably the most fun part. Like the Chinese are hospitable, very, very friendly, as you would expect. The country is like very well. I mean, they call themselves a developing country, which to me is pretty impressive. How humble they are, because to me they don't look like a developing country. They look like they live in the 22nd damn century. I visited only 3 cities. I can't like judge the whole country based on that, especially not like in just 10 days, 9 or 10 days, because that's how long I was there. So we were in Beijing and Chongqing, and also we visited only partially, like only for a day, Guangzhou. So I know a lot of people, especially in Western countries, these names don't mean much, but I just want to mention, for instance, Chongqing is a city of 33 million people at this point.
I was just gonna say I was watching some video about China the other day, and they mentioned Chongqing, and they were saying that same basically thing that like nobody knows where it is, but it has 33 million people, which is bigger, or like only second to London, if I'm not mistaken, like in the European scope of cities.
I think it's larger than even like the London conurbation, like megalopolis. It's actually smaller than this. Both in terms of surface area, like the size of the territory, and also in the terms of like the total population. Now, like this is going to blow some people's mind, because like it's 82,000 square kilometers. So for those who don't know, like it's roughly the size of Serbia or Austria. So Serbia is 88,000 square kilometers. This city is 82,000 square kilometers. Like it's insane.
Wait,
like, I mean,
the city is 82,000, or like the province?
No. I mean, the city is essentially like a federal province, just like Moscow and St. Petersburg have like a special federal status. And this city is essentially like a megalopolis, which is composed of Chongqing and several other smaller cities. But it's essentially like a concrete area. Like it's made of, like, it's a totally urbanized area, and it has like 82,000 square kilometers. only the so-called center of this city is 6,000 square kilometers, which is like half of Montenegro. Like, and you could, and they've squeezed 33 million people into this. And the thing is, people don't have to take my word for it. Just check their crime statistics. It's incredible that a city of 33 million people hasn't had a shooting in 15 years, and that, you know, the one that happened 15 years ago was accidental, like nobody got killed. Now compare that to New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and other like developed countries and cities in those developed countries.
No comment.
And no comment. Exactly. Like, it's incredible. Like
Chinese propaganda. Today we have a Chinese propaganda special extravaganza with Drago.
Like, the city Chongqing produces 35% of laptops in the world. Like it's absolutely incredible. Like, I mean, it's pretty affordable for even like for someone from Serbia, which again is not considered a rich country. You could like get by with, let's say $1,000. Like if you have $1,000 in your pocket.
Did everyone think you were a giant? Because I'm seeing you're like the tallest one here among the foreigners. Did everyone consider you a giant?
Like those are like people from 15 countries. There were like people from 30 other countries, like in the entire group that was visiting. For us Serbs, unless we like meet people from other countries, we don't realize how tall we are, you know, in general. I guess,
you Serbs, maybe. Me Serbs, not so much. I'm like more average. I'm like short in Serbia, which is like above average worldwide. But in any case.
Yeah, like you're short, but you're like 5'11" or something like that. Or
10, I think. I don't know. 176 in centimeters. I'm not sure what that is in feet and inches and fingers. In any case. I was gonna say in China, considering you're a Serb, is it true what they say when like what Vučić was saying when they hear you're a Serb? Do they go like, oh, Vučići?
Well, they know Vučić. They also know Serbia quite a lot. Like I was amazed by the number of people who know about Serbia, and like they would start a conversation with you. You know, Serbia is our iron friend, iron ally, and they know, you know, they know the situation about Serbia. They would oftentimes, like when you talk to them, they would know that Kosovo is actually Serbia's Taiwan, and so on and so on. So like it's incredible how much they know about us. And Serbia is not really like close to China geographically speaking, so they don't really have to know about us, but they do. And if you go, to Western Europe and you ask about Serbia, like a lot of people will not even be able to know, to know where exactly you are, like just, guess the continent correctly. So the Chinese are aware of
Siberia. Yeah, you mean Siberia.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, I have a story regarding that. There was this American guy in one of the delegations. He was presenting the so-called Flying Tigers, which were American airmen who were fighting in China during World War II. So the interesting thing is
this is now on your trip in China. This anecdote. Okay.
So this was part of the trip to China. So there was this guy called Jeff Green. He was presenting them. He was a former USAF pilot in Vietnam, and he saw like I had a tag, like a giant freaking tag that said Serbia on it. And this guy read it, but he didn't realize where the country was, and he heard me speaking, so he thought I was a Serb. I was a person from Sarajevo who lives in America, So he started trash talking Serbs and Russians to me, not realizing that I'm not from Sarajevo, because he heard the last name Bosnic, so he probably assumed I was from Bosnia. And he saw Serbia and he mixed it up with Sarajevo. So for the next hour and a half, he was walking next to me, trying to trash talk Serbs and Russians. So that was an interesting episode. The only American in all of those delegations. He thought I was an American, and he started talking shit about my country and about Russia, because Baburin, the former head of the Russian Duma, which is the Russian parliament, was also there. We met, we talked a little bit, and this American guy, he was trying to get in between us. He was trying to trash talk to Russians, and he told me, I was thinking about, raising my hands and shouting Slava Ukraini and so on, which was a very, very strange, exchange. And his Chinese wife was there because he
No
married
comment.
a Chinese woman. And then she came to us while we were speaking. Essentially, he was the one doing all the speaking. She came to us and like warned him very, very indiscreetly that I'm from Serbia. He shouldn't be talking to me, which I found even funnier. So,
What can I say? I'm sure the Chinese intelligence services that were escorting your whole group had a field day.
oh yeah. I actually met one of the guys. He was a bit surprised when I said I would like to, take a picture with you. I know you're from the intelligence because I mean it was pretty obvious when you saw him. He was trying to remain, unseen, which really made him seen for the most part.
And if you feel like it, because when you send me these pictures, they all got like rearranged out of order. So
Yeah.
as I'm flipping through them, like if you feel like you have to like point out somebody or
Yeah,
something,
this
or like
is
a city.
the guy like next to me, like the guy next to the woman, which is next to me. That's Baburin. That's the Russian
This
former.
guy.
Yeah, that's him. That's him. The woman next to him, she is the head of the CPAPD, which is the Chinese People's Association for Disarmament and Peace. The guy next to the woman in the middle, that's a Russian cosmonaut and a hero of the Russian Federation. I think he like broke several records in space. That one, like in the blue T-shirt. There were like a bunch of people, in the Russian delegation. And the interesting thing is like the Chinese have a lot of respect for the Russians, which is, very interesting because they didn't have to do it, right? All the time, in Western media, there's this idea that China is trying to get something from Russia, like trying to force Russia into a junior partnership. Like all of the Chinese like senior leadership of this association spoke Russian, and very few of them spoke English. Like you wouldn't expect that. Like you would expect the opposite. But the interesting thing is like the Russians are highly respected. Like they were the only ones in all those delegations who had like everything special for them, and the rest of us, I mean, we were all like very well received. It's just that the Russians had a very special place for the Chinese, and they also call them older brothers, which is very interesting because when you talk to the Chinese, you realize that Russia.
To time out to give people some background information that they might not know if this is the first video they were watching with you. You used to work with Chinese people, so to say, in the sense that you used to teach them English. So you have some kind of cultural connection, and if I'm not mistaken, you also understand or like speak, basic Mandarin, one can say.
Well, I wouldn't say I speak basic Mandarin, but I can understand some of it. And the interesting thing is like only when you go to China you realize how very few people speak English. Because they don't need it. Like they don't use it. And I was surprised even more that they, many of them, especially in the higher echelons of power, that they actually know Russian, which is a much more complex language than English. Which gives you the idea that there is a sort of respect for the Russians because after World War II, China was in a really, really bad shape. And this is one of the things I wanted to talk about. I'll get back to it very soon. So, after World War II, the Russians pretty much gave everything to the Chinese, which helped jumpstart their economy, and rebuild the country that was destroyed after decades of brutal imperialist occupation by the Japanese. And, this is the most overlooked aspect of World War II, to the point that it literally changes the history of World War II. So most people don't know in 1931 the Japanese invaded China, conquering the northeastern China called the Manchuria, which they renamed to Manchukuo, created like a puppet state. And in 1937 they launched like a full-scale invasion of China, like trying to get to take the rest of the country. So like the war crimes they committed in China are no better than what the Ustashi Croatian Nazis did in former Yugoslavia, or let's say the Albanians or Bosnian Muslims, or the Germans, in Russia. So we saw a lot of, because they showed a documentary about that occupation. Like it is in no way less brutal, if not even more, because there was this unit called 731, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the experiments that they were conducting are like beyond human comprehension. Like a normal person wouldn't even think about it, let alone conduct those sort of experiments.
Other
And
than no comment, let me just remind you that this is going to YouTube, not Rumble, which you might be used to now that you're
I'm more used to it.
Yeah, that you're like a fellow. Let me remind you that this is going to YouTube, and like we like to keep it PG-13 here. Basically, yeah, the unit 7 whatever 3251 or whatever are on par, as you say, on par. Like they're competing for the most horrific possible war crime imaginable. With the Ustasche, and the Nazis are going like you guys are fucking crazy. And if the Nazis are saying that, then you got a problem with nuts. Shall we get back to all these lovely photos that you bring from the People's Republic of China?
Yeah, I'm all the way to the left, so.
Did you get to meet any planners, like Navy officers?
Let's say I did. But we're gonna leave that for some other talk, hopefully in the future.
All right, because like we haven't even gotten through the first 7 pictures, and there's so much more to talk about here. What are you doing here? Where is this set of pictures?
This is the president of the CPAPD, and he was. This was like a let's say. This was a meeting before the dinner. Now, I just want to say this guy, like the way he sings like a freaking opera singer. I've never heard a regular guy sing like that. Because after this picture, we had like a very, very interesting dinner for all the delegates. And we were singing songs from our countries. And at the very end, because there was not enough time for everyone, but what the Baburians did was like beyond cool. He was singing Russian songs, and at one point he started singing Tamo Daleko, which is like a very, very old, very important Serbian song from the World War I era. He's also a great singer. There was this several other people, in these delegations who spoke Serbian, including a Palestinian guy who actually studied in Bosnia, in Banja Luka, which was Yugoslavia at the time. And it was an interesting experience. I didn't expect to hear that song in China, especially not sang by one of the most important people in Russia. So there you go. The Russians don't like us. They just did that for nothing. So
the Palestinian, was he Muslim or Christian, or did you not?
I don't know. I've never asked him, but his name was a bit strange. I guess he could be a Christian, but it doesn't matter really. Akel, his name is Akel, so I'm not sure like what that is. Is it like a Christian? Is it Muslim? He was one of the best people there. The moment I said I'm from Serbia, he started speaking Serbian. And
no, there's a lot of Arab nomenclatura from the 70s and beyond that came to former Yugoslavia, or like Yugoslavia at the time, to get their higher education, because we, unlike Belgium in the 60s, we didn't have black zoos. I actually mentioned that because there were 5 or 6 delegates from Africa, including like Kenya, Ethiopia, South Africa, Namibia, and so on, Nigeria as well. So when they were there, I was talking to them, and I said like, and I showed them the picture, and I said like, guys, we were actually, when they say the Serbs are, genocidal maniacs and baby killers and so on. I suggest people to, read about history a bit, especially the Belgian Congo. The Belgians really showed to the Africans like what European values are there. Unlike us, the barbarians, who didn't really follow democracy. So we did the wrong thing, and we, gave the chance to the Africans to actually educate themselves, build countries that were pretty much, democratized by Europeans for several centuries. Mm-hmm. I'm just looking here. You've got like many other photos of people, and there's these photos of this projection and the city. What is this that's going on
Yeah,
here?
just go back. There you go. Like this is the city, like as it was 50, 40, and 10 years ago. Like it's incredible. Like when you see how much they've built, especially like since World War II era, it's incredible. Like most of the buildings in Chongqing were built since the mid 1990s. So there you go. I mean, China is, as I said, it's collapsing economically, as the Western media says, and you can see it on these photos.
How was the buffet where you went? Were there insects? Because I had a friend who went to China, and
No.
he was
It
like
was
in a
pretty good.
five-star hotel, and then
Uh,
there was like insects on the buffet.
it was pretty good. Like most of the things that I saw were edible, and not just edible; they were great. I was also expecting to see something live and moving and kicking, but I didn't see anything like that.
All
So
right, so you got a manicured experience, is what I'm understanding.
yeah. It's a bit manicured, I have to say. Like, but we went walking around the city. Like, you can get a beer, you can like get burgers and stuff like that. You can get Chinese food if you want. I mean, it's such a massive city. Like, it would take weeks or months, just to go and see the most important areas.
This is a relief or
Yeah. Of Chongqing and the areas around Chongqing and Yangtze. I actually we spent only like 4 days there, and previously we spent like most of our days in Beijing. Beijing is like a it's a massive city. But it's more traditional than Chongqing. Chongqing is like the high tech city.
this looks like an important meeting.
Yeah, that was the meeting I was talking about. This is the guy that was singing. He was the one chairing the meeting.
Oh, it's the same picture, same room, but just from
Same
a
picture,
different
but
angle. Okay.
see, like the way I take pictures is far worse. Yeah, this is interesting. This is a
This is
meme
a
I saw.
comedy
Like,
show. Yeah, this is a comedy show. So you like sent in a meme with the pictures. I saw that when I was looking at it. When you sent it, I was like, yes, it'll be a good break from the serious. I mean, the jokes that we were talking about. So
and it's
tell me
true. I
again.
mean,
Tell me again. What is this? What is this initiative that like you went for? Like, who are these people, and how did you
uh,
get invited? And what was the point of all of this?
the point was like to promote peace. As I said, like it's the CPAPD officially an NGO. I mean,
Ti-
but
Time
uh,
out. CPNPD, is that like a peace through strength? Trumps, are they like Trumpists?
yeah, let's say they're Chinese trumpets. But the interesting thing is, like like China has a lot of NGOs. Officially, they're NGOs, but in reality, they're not really NGOs. But that's another story. I'm not going to get into that now. It's a whole other can of worms. So
Wait, you
this
you mean to tell me that like Radio Free Europe is not independent?
Well, the thing is, obviously, when we say the NGO in Western terms, like it is, like it's not a non-governmental organization. We just lose the non. It's a governmental organization, just not of your government. In China, it is, like non is completely redundant because it is a governmental organization just in China. So what the Chinese do is they keep them in China, just like China does everything else, like keeping their military inside China, not going around the world and trying to convince other countries that they need military bases and they need bombs. So this is one of the incredible things about the Chinese. Like, they have so much to be proud of, because they've accomplished a lot, not just like in the last 30 to 50 years. Like, they're one of the oldest civilizations in the world, and when people say China is copying stuff, well, guess what? The rest of the world copied the printing machine, the paper, and the gunpowder, and all three are Chinese inventions. So essentially, if they borrow some technologies, like, they're just taking one tiny percentage of what they've given to the world. And again, they're not arrogant people. They don't want to convince you that China is the best, and that that you want to be like China and so on. They're not trying to force their system or values on you. They just want to do business. Like they're a mercantilistic society, mercantilistic civilization, and for them, trade and economic, power projection is the most important thing. So this, you realize this, like when you talk to them. We had like 2 or 3 dinners with some people who were like from various companies in China. And like when you talk to these people, you realize they don't give a damn about any ideology or, trying to, or even geopolitics. All they care about is doing business. And, I really commend that, because like they're not trying to force you or trying to convince you that dropping bombs in your head is for your own good,
So they don't believe in democracy.
Yeah, like real, the autocrats and like lovers of dictatorships. Exactly.
It's unbelievable. They should get more free press.
No, that's an interesting thing. That's a factory that pretty much jump-started the Chinese reindustrialization era. Obviously, it was aided. The building of this factory was aided by the Russians. So the interesting thing is, like, it's in the very center of Beijing. And what they could have done is they could have like leveled the entire place and built like a business complex or something.
Mm-hmm.
But they decided to keep it as a museum, like open air museum. You can like have tours. Obviously, it's not operational anymore. It's not necessary. But that building was critical in China's reindustrialization efforts. Without that building, like they wouldn't have a lot of other industries that are now pretty much a given in China.
Interesting. Good to know that they're preserving that like historical, cultural heritage, let's say. And this would be?
That would be the Forbidden City.
So you went into the Forbidden City, huh? You were allowed inside.
Well, I mean, there's a bunch of tourists. It's not really forbidden. Like it was forbidden until like 100 and something years ago. But now it's like a regular like tourist area, and it's very, very interesting. Like there's a lot of symbolism. Like
so
virtually
these are all tourists that we're seeing. These are not like actors that the Chinese government put there to like make it look like it's populated.
Like most of them are actors. You can see like people with whips, standing on at the ends of this, and like looking at them very sternly, and like they have to laugh and pretend to be happy all the time.
It's good to have you back. I haven't recorded it for a while because I was like, man, like every time I take a break from recording with you first is the easiest, because like you get the humor, you get the attitude, and you know the drill basically, how we do things here, which is good. I need to get back to recording more regularly. There's a lot of things that have happened that I need to make no comment about. I like this new shirt. So, the Forbidden City. Is this it from the outside? This doesn't look like it from the outside.
Now we're back to Chongqing. This is actually this was like a cruise ride, and like it lasted for about 2 or 3 hours. I'm not exactly sure. Like the
river, you mean?
Yeah. The river Yangtze is enormous.
Yangtze in English, Yangtze River.
Yeah, I was pronouncing it in Chinese. So,
that's why I was making it clear, because you said it before and I wasn't sure, but now I'm actually sure, because it's the biggest river by volume, I think, of water that it puts down river. I think it's more than the Amazon actually, or something like that. I might be lying.
Enormous.
In any case,
it is just massive. It's obviously it's very deep. You don't know that until you read the information. And we also saw, we didn't visit the Three Gorges Dam, but we saw it out of the airplane, from the airplane. It's one of the most massive things I've ever seen, like built by humans, obviously. And it pretty much prevented.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Especially in China. Jokes aside.
Oh, that was a good one.
Sorry, Chinese. Don't ruin my credit score.
back to the Chinese propaganda about the biggest dam in the world. So yeah, the Yangtze, you're floating on it in Chongqing.
Yeah, like for 3 hours, like you're riding along, the Yangtze River, and like all you can see is a massive city. Like you could be driving hours, on end in one direction, and you would still be in Chongqing. Like that's how massive the city is. And again, as I said, like you can see children running around everywhere. Like you can see people, walking freely. Like, can you imagine this? Like a city of this size anywhere in Western countries? Like,
You're
would you let
saying
your kids like to
you're
go
saying
run around?
it's like cyberpunk but without the crime.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it literally is Cyberpunk 2077, but like without any of the bad things. It's just crazy.
All these skyscrapers are just like shells. There's no people inside. It's just like moving lights to make you think.
Yeah.
Like only the one that you're in was populated, right?
Yeah, the only one that was populated was mine, and I mean you couldn't see people in the others, so I presume there were none.
Yeah,
Just like in
makes
the rest of
sense.
the buildings. You know how China decides to build like only empty cities? They do that all the time, just to impress
This is
foreigners.
this is one of them.
Yeah. This is one of them. Like there's 37 million something, but it's not people, obviously. It's just
Wait,
no.
I gotta ask you, of all the things that you saw, what was the like most culturally shocking thing? Like when you went and like something that happened, or like something that you saw, or like that like threw you off, that you were like, wow, really?
Like I couldn't pinpoint anything that really threw me off. Although I was surprised by the number of, especially younger people in China who are tall. Like I've seen, like the Chinese are generally like of lower stature in comparison to Serbs. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to know that. But among the younger generation, like you could see people who are like as tall as I am, and like it's not a very uncommon sight. Which obviously, I mean, it's nothing out of the ordinary because like it's a country of 1.4 billion people. But I mean, you can see. From time to time, you can see really tall people, like including women. Like one of the girls who was guiding the entire tour was like a bit shorter than I am. Obviously, they're much thinner than we are, but still, like it's pretty amazing how tall some of them can be.
So you're saying
China is conducting genetic experiments on its people. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
to fight the Western stereotype, just
Yeah.
out of the pure drive to prove the Western stereotypes wrong, which is why they also build bridges like this, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. The Chinese Communist Party is really jealous of Western stability and democracy. This is why they're overcompensating with all the buildings. So.
And this is fake history.
Yeah, that's the fake pagoda where there are no Buddhist monks, living there because they were all shot by the Communist Party while we were there, obviously.
You watched public executions, huh?
Yeah. The Chinese enjoy that really much, like really, really enjoy it.
Is this a fountain?
No, that was part of the factory, and I presume that was the water that they needed, like to cool down
for the
the
cooling
entire system. Yeah, but because like the one of the things I forgot to say, the workers who were in the factory, whatever you want to call it, they were essentially, it's like a giant foundry, so they were working like in conditions where the temperature would be like 60 degrees Celsius, which obviously is beyond insane. I don't know what the Fahrenheit
like
Kuwait
Kuwait in the summer.
Wait in the summer, yeah. Like it would be a normal thing for you, obviously.
As long as it's dry, in Kuwait, there's no humidity. It's nice dry heat. It's not that bad. It's like you're under a blow dryer, 24/7. We're back at this factory. What are these lights that we're seeing?
These are like the projections. Like
a
these are all
highway.
models. Yeah. These are the highways. Like you wouldn't believe like what sort of highways they have, like the networks of highways they have in China, especially in Chongqing. Like Like these are all models, like because we couldn't like get a helicopter or something.
What? They didn't give you a helicopter ride?
Yeah. I mean, such losers, man. Such losers. I would have gotten a helicopter in America, 100%. Like, I mean, the city, like the skyline. It's wherever, like for as long as you can see, there are buildings like this. You know, to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of living in big cities, like especially in a city like this. I love the countryside, I love the nature. Like, so it's not really my cup of tea. But for someone who likes the urban areas, this would be like the perfect place, like the most perfect place on the planet, probably.
This
And I
looks
mean,
like
it's
that ship
incredible.
from. This looks like a ship from that China DLC in Battlefield.
Oh wow.
That ship sunk in real life, just like it did in the Battlefield game.
Oh wow.
Battlefield like precogged some things. Are we still in Chongqing?
Yeah, that's Chongqing, exactly.
All right. This is a more normal, quote unquote, neighborhood
Yeah,
where
these
the
are like
buildings are only
the short,
20, 40 floors,
yeah,
not above
only like
40.
50 or 60 stories. You know, like like
Mm.
the lame ones.
Yeah. The down to earth people.
Yeah, for the down to earth people, like not those
Yeah,
from
with
the center. Yeah, I think like some of the pictures are mixed up. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
That's a very good collection of things. And how about like some of the topics that were discussed?
Yeah, well, I already mentioned World War II, and you know the revisionism that we see, or like the total ignoring of the Chinese contributions.
Mm-hmm.
They lost like 35 million people, like which is more than the Russians, which is absolutely insane. On the other hand, like we also talked about this nuclear disarmament, and one of the people who was one of the professors, and he was invited. I think he's the professor of international geopolitics and security in one of the Beijing universities, and he talked about nuclear disarmament. So we had all of us had the chance like to ask a question, and you know the interesting thing about the Chinese, like this might seem like counterintuitive, but it is very logical. The Chinese are like they appreciate when you appreciate them, you know, when you say good things about them, but they don't like when you overdo it because you know they're just going to think you're flattering them, and then they will assume that you're dishonest. So what they like is when you criticize them or say that something, you know, something that that caught your eye, something that you know doesn't fit very well. So I follow the advice of our foreign minister who had been to China many times, and he knows this. Like he told me about it. So what I did, like say, it wasn't really a critique. It was more like a question to the professor, because he was
Mm-hmm.
talking about the need for nuclear disarmament, and I said, China is talking about the need for nuclear disarmament while the Americans are deploying Tomahawk cruise missiles, nuclear tipped ones, by the way,
Mm.
in the Philippines and Beijing. And just several days before I went to China, they deployed the so-called Typhoon, which has Tomahawk cruise missiles in the Iwakuni Air Base, which is very near to Nagasaki, interestingly. And that base is exactly 1,600 kilometers away from Beijing. And that's the exact range of, I mean, the maximum range of the Tomahawk cruise missile. So I said, like, as we're talking about nuclear disarmament, you know, the city we're in now, which was Beijing at the time, is, you know, in range of American nuclear tipped cruise missiles. So, like, he didn't really
Tactical
he
nukes.
dodged the question. You know, he dodged the question a bit. He didn't really respond to that. But after the conference that we had, you know, in about that, he, you know, came to me, like we shook hands, like, and we talked about, you know, certain security challenges that China is facing. So he appreciated the criticism, and this is the interesting thing about the Chinese. Like, they don't want to be praised all the time. They want to know what you think about them for real. And like, this is essentially the only way, to make friends in China, because if you're constantly just praising them, it's not going to accomplish anything. Like, it's only going to have an opposite effect, because they will think you're dishonest.
I kind of have this principle in life in general.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I generally don't. You know me personally as well, yeah. Like offline, I generally don't mind to constructively criticize people when they're asking for it, whether they know it or not.
Put it mildly.
Yeah, to use diplomatic terminology. There's I think 2 videos here that I didn't play. I don't know what this is, but I guess it's a panorama.
That was from the restaurant. Those are all like people who were forced to sit in the restaurant. They're not real. And I took the image. I took the video. They actually took away my phone and forced me to show them the video to see if I actually caught something suspicious. Jokes aside, I mean, like, nobody's really like. I haven't seen like a police officer anywhere except like the most important state buildings. I haven't seen like even traffic, patrols in Chongqing when we were there, like anywhere. And it's crazy. Like the traffic jams there are crazy.
I'm sorry, I have to interject. The Chinese who are watching this are like, what do you mean? Everybody around you was a cop, and alternatively, what do you mean? There was like 17 cameras watching you the whole time you were there. Like, we have your whole trip and every car violation that all of your drivers did from the instance. Like, every time they were late, switching lanes without a blinker, it's all recorded on video.
That's true. Like, they have a bunch of cameras. That obviously is true. But it's a question whether you're willing to give up some of your privacy for safety. And given like how many people there are in Chongqing, obviously they're all actors, not real people. It's incredibly safe. Like, I never felt that safe in such a big city in my life.
Is this your hotel room?
Yeah, this is my hotel room. You will see all the high tech stuff that they. The quality of my recording is a bit off. Yeah, that's like a AI powered
toilet
seat. Yeah.
And it like recognize that you're there, and it's like just like turned on.
Every
by
single
itself.
time I open the door of the bathroom, it just lifts up, or if it's open and I just pass by, it lifts up. So yeah.
That's hilarious. It seems so backwards, so filthy.
Yeah. As you can imagine, China is a real mess, man. I wouldn't go there again.
I don't know what to tell you, Drago. I'm glad you made it back. Did you check? Did you have an X-ray? Did they like remove a kidney or like?
Well, I didn't, but I probably should, because you never know with the Chinese. Is crazy, man.
Is there anything else that stuck out in your travels that you wanted to maybe share with people who might end up watching this to the very end?
Well, if you go to China, just remember not to take your power banks, because they took mine. It's a bit crazy because, in international flights in China, they're not going to take away your power bank, but in domestic flights, they will, unless you have
nice. That's
Chinese
hilarious.
certified power bank. Like, that's the only negative experience I had, and of course my credit score is going up because of this.
That's hilarious.
Sorry,
because
my credit score.
In international flights, batteries for drones are a problem, and then after that, batteries in general became a problem if you're not carrying them in a certified bag that's like explosion proof, basically. No, seriously, like lipo fireproof bags, then you can carry as much lipos as you want, which kind of defeats the purpose.
It's interesting. Like they have these like specially certified power banks which have 3C letters on like it's a logo of some kind. I don't know what it is, but
Mhm.
like it's a new law that they put in force about a month before I came in, and this is why I didn't know. Like nobody told us that they're going to be taking away our power banks.
Um, what can I say? You probably could buy a certified one on the plane that was like 16 times cheaper than the one that you got and the better
I
capacity.
could, but they advise us like not to do it because like they might take them away anyway. So
Hmm.
that's why I did.
In any case, Drago goes to China and comes back in one piece. How long? 10 days?
Yeah, 10 days. Like the only like negative thing about traveling to China is like it takes a million years. If you're not ready for a 12-hour flight, just don't do it. But other than that, I have no. I don't think there's any reason not to go to China because you're going to be happy with the food, with the people. You're going to see a bunch of historical stuff about them. They will force you to eat bugs and stuff like that. I mean, it's not like they're doing that in Western countries, right? So yeah, that's pretty much
at
it.
least here you get to have them. What's it called? Barbecued and not ground into
Yeah,
flour and put in your chocolate.
and
I
like
stopped eating.
where you have to
I
pretend
stopped
it's
eating
a
Toblerone.
burger. Well, like you
I
have to
stopped.
pretend it's a burger, and stuff like that.
Mm,
God forbid that ever happened in Western countries. Like,
yeah, no, it's good that we have the West under control. Um,
yeah,
Yeah, everybody who stuck around to the end, welcome back. Thank you for sticking around, Drago. Good to talk again. We'll get
of
back
course,
to
man.
doing some news and stuff like that sooner or later. These shirts will be up for sale eventually. Um, in the meantime, make sure to get on the Patreon and secure yourself one that way. Um, Drago, you'll get yours soon enough.
Yeah,
Um, that's about it. I think we covered more or less everything there is to cover.
yeah. That's pretty much it. I might have forgotten something, but that's it. Yeah,
Something about like non-proliferation or peace or like comedic stuff that's like old
yeah.
jokes, old jokes that everybody's heard before. In any case, good to have you back, Drago. Everyone, see you around. Peace. Have a good one. Oh, and don't forget, check out the Telegram and the links below.